Everyone, my name is Adrian Lee and I am the president of the Asian Pacific American Coalition here at UCF.
Hi everyone, my name is Noreen Kaleha and I am the vice president of APAHM at UCF. Today, we want to thank everyone who is joining us in celebrating the opening ceremony of APAHM. To all of our members, alumni, friends, and staff, we are so grateful for your presence and your support of Asian American communities on campus.
APAHM was founded back in 2005 when Asian American student leaders struggled to secure recognition and support from the university. Through collaborative and enriching leadership programs, APAHM continues to unify numerous student groups under the Asian Pacific Islander Desi American umbrella and advocates on behalf of minority groups at the student and administrative levels. Although the journey has been difficult, it has been an honor to serve as your advocates and work on behalf of our APAHM community.
Our theme for this year's Heritage Month, In the Margins, highlights the marginalized histories, narratives, leaders, and relationships within our APITA communities. With the rise of anti-Asian hate crimes alongside the spread of COVID-19, we must rise to our inheritance and build off the work of our trailblazing predecessors. We must hunger for change, which starts within ourselves.
Though it's drawing near to the end, APAHM will continue to create spaces for all of our students to challenge themselves into becoming better leaders, activists, students, and friends. While this year has brought so many critical questions into our individual identities, we must strive to create impact through shared grief.
As the late Yuri Kochiyama once said, we are all part of one another. Thank you for joining our celebration of Asian Pacific American Heritage Month. Goodbye.
Bye.
Hello, Knights. I am pleased to help open UCF's celebration of Asian Pacific American Heritage Month, a time for our university community to come together to learn, experience, and celebrate the cultures of Asians and Pacific Islanders in the United States. This year marks the university's 5th annual celebration of Asian Pacific American Heritage Month, with the theme of In the Margins, focusing on the resiliency of the Asian community groups this past year. We are so proud of the resiliency shown by our students, faculty, and staff, especially in a year that has impacted each of us mentally, emotionally, and physically. UCF strives to be a place where all people are not just welcome, but celebrated, with true inclusion where everyone is not only invited, but seen, heard, and respected. Our inclusion means making room for everyone and their experiences, cultures, values, and ideas, and working to make sure that nobody is placed in the margins. That's why we denounce the violent and racist acts like those that have been experienced by Asian Americans across the country this past year. There is no place for this behavior at UCF. As our interim Chief Equity, Inclusion, and Diversity Officer, Kent Butler, said just a few weeks ago, at UCF, we celebrate a culture of inclusive excellence. Diversity makes us smarter and better. Our excellence is made stronger through our differences, and celebrating our uniqueness brings vibrancy and energy to our academics and campus experience. During my first year here, I have seen so much to love about UCF. The can-do attitude, innovation, and compassion shown by our students, faculty, and staff are unique in higher education. We have the opportunity to be that bright spot within higher education, built around compassion for each other and a focus on building a culture that celebrates and values our differences. I am so pleased to be part of this year's celebration of the wonderful culture and many contributions of those who identify as Asian and Pacific Islander at UCF and across our country. And I am grateful for your compassion and your resiliency that pushes us to, in all things, charge on.
This is my third Tai Chi this morning.
Oh, wow. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. It's just midterm season. I need to relieve my stress and, get my caffeine somehow.
Honestly, mood.
You know what? I actually ran out. I'll be right back. I'll get some more.
Much later.
Okay, we're good. Okay, so my name is Danielle Cuenca, and today we are going to talk about the creation of APAC. So back in 2001, UCF's Office of Diversity Initiatives dropped a huge bomb with their Status of Racial and Ethnic Minorities report. Asian Americans were the least satisfied with their experience at UCF. Specifically, the lack of cultural programming, ignorance, and lack of understanding from administration. But basically, nothing was done. So, after 3 years with no action plan from UCF, in 2004, Ricky Lee, Voss's president at the time, gathered a group of Asian American student leaders, which included the presidents of ASA, KSA, FSA, and at the time, Nexus, which is now Delta Phi Lambda, and FMIG, whom we now know as Pi Delta Psi. They came together to discuss the serious issues that were affecting the community. The young leaders met with the SGA president, Senate, MSC, and OSI director. Other cultural organizations were they were getting $30,000 under SG budgets, but the largest funded APEDA organization, which was ASA at the time, only got $6,000. So APAC was formed in spring 2005, and in that same year, they hosted the first ever Asian American Heritage Week in April. That week eventually expanded to become the month-long celebration that we now know as Asian American Heritage Month, to honor and celebrate cultural heritage as well as unite the Asian American student body. So over time, APAC grew larger with more APEDA organizations, leaders, and members as people became more aware of the community needs. Their rising presence also garnered the attention and respect of the larger Asian American community in the city of Orlando. I'm good. All right, I just choked on my tea. So these were things like issues with the growth of future leaders, community involvement, and unity to become the forefront of APAC initiatives. In 2007, Level Up was launched. And the purpose of this conference was to increase social awareness of Asian American issues and outreach to potential leaders. And different workshops, speakers, events, and opportunities were made for college and high school students to learn about leadership and become inspired to take action within the community. So what made APAC different from other organizations? Well, APAC is a political and social organization that focuses on leadership, community involvement, and unity among all of our organizations and affiliates. This year, we're really excited to host APAC's APAHM, Asian Pacific American Heritage Month. And so the theme for that is In the Margins. So I'm especially excited to see our affiliate videos. They'll be telling significant historical events as well as showcasing what their org is all about. Hold on, I think I ran out of tea again. Bye guys.
Hi, I'm Alyssa, and today we're going to be talking about Patsy Mink, the first woman of color and Asian American woman in Congress.
When Hawaii became a state in 1959, Patsy Mink campaigned to be a congresswoman. But her failure didn't stop her from running for the only seat in the U.S. House of Representatives. Throughout her career, she never really had a good connection with the state leaders in her party. She was like, they don't support me because I'm not willing to let the party influence my political agenda. Hawaii's delegate, John Anthony Burns, worked behind the scenes and decided to rearrange the ballot. He was like, come on, Daniel, you should run for the House seat. Mink lost the primary, but she ran and served for a seat in the Hawaii Senate from 1962 to 1964. Hee hee.
So Mink fought for gender and racial equality in Congress, and I think she was like in 3 committees. I know, right?
She served in the Committee of Education and Labor, Committee of Interior and Insular Affairs, and the Budget Committee. Eventually, the result of her activity and passion led her to become a major author of the Title IX law in 1972. Title IX was basically a law saying no one will be discriminated against on the basis of their sex when using education programs or federal financial assistance. Even better, the law extended its protections to LGBTQ students, teachers, and faculty. But she wasn't done just yet. She passed the Women's Educational Equity Act in 1974, which basically promoted gender equality in schools. She's just so good that the Oregon Democrats wanted to support her and have her run for the presidency. She was like, you know what? I like your anti-war movement. I'll run for you guys. Unfortunately, though, she only received 2% of the votes. But that didn't stop her from staying active in politics. You know, they say failure is the mother of success. This obstacle didn't stop her from serving in the House of Representatives for 6 terms. Oh, I almost forgot. She also co-formed the Congressional Asian Pacific American Caucus to speak out on Asian American and Pacific Islander issues. Fast forward to August of 2002, she was sadly hospitalized with pneumonia and passed away 1 month later. Despite her passing, she still won the primary election. After her death, the Title IX law was renamed the Patsy T. Mink Equal Opportunity in Education Act. Though the Democratic Revolution of 1954 resulted in a great many reforms, women's rights were not on the agenda, so Mink was often fighting a one-woman battle. She did not always garner the support of her colleagues or her own political party, and she lost many political contests, but nonetheless, she accomplished a great deal. Patsy Mink paved the way for the women of today. Women have a tremendous responsibility to help shape the future of America, to help decide policies that will affect the course of our history.
Hi, I'm Alyssa, and I'm playing the narrator.
Hi, I'm Alina. I play the competitor guys.
Hi, I'm Di, and I'm Patsy Mink.
And we're UCF AKD5.
So Alpha Kappa Delta Phi International Sorority Incorporated foster the making of successful leaders by assisting and challenging our members to reach their maximum potential. We strive to maintain the highest level of integrity and innovation in the promotion of sisterhood, philanthropy, scholastic excellence, and Asian awareness in the community while creating lifelong relationships.
Okay. Are we ready? Oh, we already started rolling? We already started rolling? Okay. Is the lighting good? Yeah? Who am I kidding? It's literally just me in front of my camera. Hello everyone. My name is Denise Farioli. I am one of the historians for the Asian Student Association, and today we will be talking about Wong Kim Ark. Now, I'm here with my venti iced white mocha with oat milk, no whipped cream, iced. Not sponsored, but it is Starbucks. So let's get started. Mr. Wong Kim Ark was born in 1873 in San Francisco, California, to 2 Chinese immigrant parents. Now, his parents had previously resided in the United States for 20 years, but eventually returned back to China. And at the ripe age of 21, Mr. Wong Kim Ark attempted to travel back to the United States. But when he tried to re-enter San Francisco, he was denied re-entry. Now, why was he denied re-entry? Well, at the San Francisco Bay, a man, an anti-Chinese man, a very prominent anti-Chinese man named John Wise, at the time was the collector of customs in San Francisco in 1894, and denied Mr. Wong Kim Ark re-entry into the United States. John Wise took it upon himself and said, "Sorry, I can't let you in. You're not American." Whoa. His parents had worked here for a very long time. He was born here in San Francisco. Well, doesn't that technically make him an American citizen? Well, technically, no at this time. Due to the Chinese Exclusion Act in 1882, this prohibited any immigration of Chinese laborers. And John Wise probably assumed that Wong Kim Ark was a Chinese laborer. So again, John Wise goes, "Sorry, I can't let you in. You're not American." Mr. Wong Kim Ark goes, whoa. I am an American. I was born here. Here's my proof. You pull out, someone's like, you were not born here. Well, I was. Mr. Wong Kim Ark pulls out his papers saying, hey, look, born in San Francisco, California in 1873, right? Of course, duh. If you're born on American soil, you're an American. That's just what the Constitution says, right? Right? Mr. John Wise goes, sorry, that's not enough proof. You're still Chinese. Turn around and go back home. Whoa, hot take. Really hot take, Mr. John Wise. Mr. Wise, John. Mr. Wong Kim goes, that's not right. I was born here. I'm gonna go challenge this. And challenge he did. Wong Kim Ark eventually gained legal support from the Chinese 6 companies, and his case went all the way up to the Supreme Court of the United States. Now, at the floor of the Supreme Court, they're like, well, he's Chinese. Well, he's American. Well, he was born here. He was born here. Bickering back and forth and back and forth. Well, eventually, the Supreme Court rules 6-2 in favor of Mr. Wong Kim Ark. The court ruled that because Wong was born in the United States and his parents were not employed in any diplomatic or official capacity under the Emperor of China, the citizenship clause of the 14th Amendment of the United States Constitution automatically made him a U.S. citizen. Because of this, Mr. Wong Kim Ark set precedent for every other child of immigrant parents to be born here in the United States. Believe it or not, the Chinese Exclusion Act wasn't repealed until 1943. And even today, immigration and citizenship policies seem to be such a huge argument in our society. For every child born to an immigrant parent, we would like to thank Mr. Wong Kim Ark for everything he did. So, raise your glasses, raise your boba, raise your coffee, raise your iced white venting mocha without milk to Mr. Wong Kim Ark. Thank you, sir.
Hi, I'm Duc Ton Nguyen, the president of the Asian Student Association. I wanted to thank everybody for watching our caffeinated history on Wong Kim Ark. And ASA's mission has been to spread cultural awareness across the community at UCF and in our Orlando community. We do this by creating a community where everybody feels welcomed, and we're glad to see our mission welcome so many of you.
Hello, I'm Orange County Mayor Jerry Demings. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the Asian Pacific American Heritage Month celebration organized by UCF's Asian Pacific American Coalition. I'm honored to join the over 4,600 Asian American students, faculty, and staff at UCF and members of our community. This evening, as we celebrate the achievements of Asian Pacific Americans, I'm committed to make Orange County the experimental prototype community of tomorrow by creating a community culture of innovation, collaboration, and inclusion, where we celebrate our diversity and no one is left behind. It is vital to have organizations like yours that promote cultural heritage, connectedness, and collaboration among the 15 student organizations you represent. I applaud your efforts to organize racial and ethnic identity awareness campaigns and recognize the achievements of student leaders and organizations through the Hidden Lotus Awards. I also want to commend Ricky Lee, the founder of APAHM, for his vision and continuous efforts to represent the Asian American community. I am proud to have Mr. Ricky Lee represent the Asian American community on my Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. initiative and the Orange County Citizen Safety Task Force. I convened to address the gun violence and violent crime in the community. As once said by the late Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, fight for the things that you care about, but do it in a way that will lead others to join you. Thank you for the work you're doing, and I look forward to seeing everyone in person next year.
Hey, I'm the one that stares at you in class. My heart just beats so fast. You don't know me, feet move slowly. Who's he? And why isn't he me? 2, 3. Baby, show me what it's like to be with you. Maybe we can have coffee at a table for two. Yeah, it's you and me and everything. It's the shake in my voice when I start to sing. So save me, whoa. He can't see you the way that I do. It's sad, you're making me go mad. Think you're funny, but you rip me apart. You're tearing up my heart. 2, 3. Baby, show me what it's like to be with you. Maybe we can have coffee at a table for two. Yeah, it's you and me and everything. It's the shake in my voice when I start to sing. So save me, whoa, whoa. When you're there alone, my hand is there to hold, warming you like a fire in the cold. I hear the echoes of your voice when I'm in bed, but I'm too afraid to sing the song that's in my head. Baby, show me what it's like to be with you. Maybe we can have coffee at a table for two. Yeah, it's you and me and everything. It's the shake in my voice when I start to sing. So save me, whoa, oh, oh.
Hi, we are Triumvirate, and we are going to play an unreleased song. We don't really have a title for it, so we're just gonna play it.
Well, right now it's Sonderlands, but it's working.
Working title. Working title. Okay.
All right. You ready?
3, 2, 1, go. I'm just 10 paces behind you, in love for a second time. You don't know me, and I don't know you too. Same thing, but a woman with blue eyes. Her 2 kids lighting candles in July. What a life that'll go in a blink of an eye. Help, I need someone's help. I can't control myself, no. Please don't leave me, help. I need some damn help. Been backwards overwhelmed, 'cause you're just a memory. Oh. Say, saw you on that one day. Golden hour flames showed the brilliance of your face, but you don't know my name. We are so estranged now and forever, but I fell in love with the thought of you. Help, I need someone's help. I can't just say farewell yet until you see me. Help, I need some damn help. Been backwards overwhelmed, searching through my memories, oh, for a sign of you.
Hi. So we just wanted to say thank you to the Asian Pacific American Coalition for allowing us to perform here. I hope you all enjoyed our music. We are Triumvirate. You can find our music on all streaming platforms, and especially our newly released album, or EP, sorry, Wonderkin. And yeah, we're just proud to represent our Filipino community here at UCF. So, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Hi everyone, my name is Noreen Kaleha and I am the Asian Pacific Islander American Caucus Chair within the UCF Student Government Senate. On behalf of the APIA Caucus and the UCF Student Government Senate, we'd like to thank all 18 Asian American registered student organizations in continuing the celebration of the Asian Pacific American Heritage Month. Now is the time to promote and support the education, history, culture, and traditions of the Asian American student body population here at UCF. Happy APAHM, and as always, go nice and charge on!
Hey everyone, my name is Ishi Kopu. I'm a South Indian undergraduate student under the College of Engineering and Computer Science. As a former vice chair of the APIA Caucus under UCF SG, I wanted to come on here to thank everyone for having such a beautiful and wonderful APAHM month and APAHM celebration. It's very important to bring to light various issues surrounding our community, but not stopping to celebrate the mosaic of cultures, diversity, and history our community brings together. So once again, thank you so much for continuing to celebrate this month, and as always, go Knights and charge on!
Take one.
Wow, that is some strong boba. Okay, hello everyone. Today we're going to retell the story of one of the Philippines' famous heroines. Her name is Melchora Aquino. In 1896, the Philippine Revolution began as Spaniards invaded the Philippines and attempted to take it for themselves. The Spaniards and Filipinos were really going at it. Shots were being thrown right and left. At the time, Melchora was 84 years of age. She was a super old woman, like ancient. She used her store as a means to provide medical care to the soldiers who were fighting in the war. She not only provided them medical care, but also provided them encouragement through prayer. Her store was also used for secret meetings. Filipinos would talk about highly confidential information behind closed doors. The things that they would talk about were so secret that I don't even know if we're allowed to talk about it on the show.
Seen and ain't ever seen two pretty best friends. Yeah, we did it! Yes!
When the Spaniards learned that she was providing this medical care and encouragement to their enemies, they arrested Melchora and questioned her on where they might find the Katipunan leader. Melchora refused to tell the Spaniards anything, and for that, she was deported to Guam and was forced to live in exile for 6 years. When the United States took control of the Philippines in 1898, she was permitted to return to her home and store, and she lived happily ever after. Y'all, I don't feel too good. I think the milk tea is getting to me now.
Hi guys, my name is Caitlin Altamirano and I am the president of FSA. So FSA is the Filipino Student Association where we strive to bring Filipino culture and heritage to the UCF campus, while also providing a sense of community for the Filipino people, their friends, and family. So basically making this organization your home away from home.
Hello, my name is Cece and we're going to talk about the founder of DFIL, Anak Wen. Way before the founding of our organizations, there were actually 4 other Asian interest sororities. However, each organization has their own story to tell. So here we have Anna Wen, a student at the University of Georgia. During her time there, she found that at a predominantly white school of 30,000 students, minorities, especially Asians, were underrepresented. It was the winter of 1998, where Anna Wen went to Theresa Sung and she was like, "Hey, there isn't enough Asian representation at our school. We should start an Asian interest sorority." And Theresa Sung was like, "Yeah, we totally should." So with the support of her family and friends, Miss Wen began her quest in search of other females who share this one common belief: promoting Asian awareness through sisterhood. Unlike regular organizations whose journeys often diverge after graduation, the founders felt the sorority would promote an everlasting sisterhood. They wanted to educate their peers about Asian culture and serve the community through volunteer work and service. Our founders, Ang Nak Wen, Theresa Sung, Sarah Chong Micho, Carmela de Guzman, Yvonne Menta, Lin Kondo, and Rebecca Kim Stevenson took on this task together to promote Asian awareness on campus. On May 13, 2005, the Elite Epsilon chapter of Delta Phi Lambda Sorority Incorporated was established at the University of Central Florida. 16 years later and 123 sisters strong, we advocate for Asian awareness and promote our everlasting sisterhood, copyrighted, of dedicated female leaders, also copyrighted, while we continue to uphold our 7 virtues of loyalty, honesty, respect, dedication, integrity, discipline, and academic excellence. That is all.
Hey you, are you ready?
Yep, got my coffee right here.
Alright, so who are you going to talk about today?
I've got a great story for you today, and her name is...
Patsy Matsu Takamoto was born on December 6, 1927 in Hawaii on the island of Maui and was a third-gen Japanese-American descendant. So later she attended the University of Hawaii wanting to be a doctor. How surprising. And was the president of the Pre-Medical Students Club and was a part of the varsity debate team. Though she later transferred to the University of Nebraska. But Nebraska kinda got a problem with, a thing called racial segregation. Students of color were forced to live in a different dorm from white students, which was, not great. This angered Patsy for good reason, and she organized a coalition and was elected president of the Unaffiliated Students of the University of Nebraska, or a separate student government for POC students. Along with her coalition, Patsy was able to lobby and end the segregation policies. She then moved back to Honolulu and attended the University of Hawaii, where she received her degrees in zoology and chemistry. Patsy later started to apply to medical schools, but was denied because she was a woman. Again, not surprising at the time. Since she couldn't go to medical school, she went to the second best bet for Asian kids, law school. She applied and attended the University of Chicago Law School. During her studies, she later met a white guy who had a thing for rocks, and then they got married. Later, she got her degree in law, but couldn't find work because she was 3 things: married, a woman, and Asian. Though eventually, she was able to become the first Japanese American woman that was licensed to practice law in Hawaii. Though she didn't stop there, oh no. Later in her life, she won a seat in the U.S. House of Representatives and became the first woman of color in the House, where she later fought to help pass bills to end discrimination for women on the federal level and help foster education for both women and children alike. Thus,
Patsy Matsu Takamoto became one of the figureheads of comparison for Asian children afterwards. Mothers would then look at her and say, "Why can't you be more like her? Be more like Patsy." Furthermore, those words would be ingrained in the minds of Asian mothers alike for generations to come.
Hi, I'm Sheila.
Hi, I'm Yui.
And we're from Luna Interest Group. Luna Interest Group is a multicultural Asian interest group in Orlando, Florida that encourages young women to take initiative in improving the lives of others and giving back to their local communities.
We pride ourselves in providing an inclusive environment that fosters cultural diversity, Asian awareness, and being an educationally inspired grounding for women of all different backgrounds.
Thank you to the Asian Pacific American Coalition for giving us this opportunity to participate in the Asian Pacific American Heritage Month, or APAHM.
Adabe arz aaj hum. Oh, sorry. The caffeine from the chai I'm drinking made me forget to speak in traditional English. Anyways, today we'll be discussing the history of the Urdu typography, Nastaliq. For a little bit of background, Urdu is the official national language of Pakistan. Currently, it is the 11th most spoken language in the world. Linguistically, it is very similar to Hindi. However, a lot of the roots of the language tie to Farsi, otherwise known as Persian and Arabic. What is Nastaliq, and why are we discussing this over chai? Nastaliq is a style of written Urdu with roots in 14th century Persia. With technological innovation, a lot of printing presses were traditionally made with Latin typography, very different from how the Urdu language is traditionally written. Way back then, to maintain tradition, there were attempts to develop a Nastaliq typewriter, but they failed miserably and the feat was deemed impossible. At the time, it was believed that thousands of pieces were needed in order to effectively create a proper Nastaliq typewriter. Then, Mirza Ahmad Jamil and Monotype Imaging arrived in 1981. Through their collaboration, Nuri Nastaliq was invented and created as a digital font. Because of their innovation, it allowed newspapers like Daily Jung to finally use digital typesetting rather than a bunch of tired calligraphers working painstakingly. As convenient as it was, two main problems persisted: the font not being available on Windows or Mac, and the digital interface appearing differently in the final product, making it harder to edit and visualize immediately. In 1994, In-Page Urdu was developed and introduced. It offered the Nuri Nastaliq style previously mentioned and is still being used in current software versions of Windows. Now, Nastaliq is available in more versions. Windows 8 was the first version to have native Nastaliq support. Furthermore, Google has an open-source Nastaliq font that Apple also utilizes. While the font is being utilized more often, there is still a call to action of making Nastaliq more accessible and normalized within the newer generation. To many native Pakistanis, Nastaliq is an art form and is respected and revered by many. As a result, it is encouraged for tech companies to continue to adopt its typography and preserve a part of our history. Anyways, thank you so much for joining our brief chai session where we discussed Nastaliq, a form of written Urdu, and its history. We are the Pakistani Student Association at ECF. Our goal is to spread the culture and awareness of Pakistanis and advocate for hidden voices. This is accomplished through various socials, workshops, and more. Shukriya, and thank you for listening.
Hey guys, my name is Vincent Chin. I'm an Asian American man and I was murdered by two guys in Detroit, and this is my story. Now, I'm sure most of you who are watching are college students. College students like partying, right? So think of me as one of your friends. One night, I went out with some of my buddies for my bachelor's party, and your boy was about to be married in 2 weeks. So we were at the bar and getting, what was it that you kids say nowadays? Lit. We were getting lit. And across from us at the bar were the two white guys. We'll call them Ron and Mike. Ron, whose real name was Ronald Evans, worked at Chrysler, the car company. Mike, who is like his stepson, was a laid-off auto worker at the company. We were sitting at the bar and these jerks just started talking shit. It's because I was Asian.
It's because of you little just were out of work.
That's what they said to me. Oh wow, how typical. An American blaming someone else's country for American problems and then projecting their anger at immigrants who ain't got nothing to do with any of that shit. Go figure.
You see, the reason why they were yelling at us is because the Japanese auto industry was becoming super successful during that time.
Toyota Corolla.
So, due to Japanese competition in the United States, American auto workers began to get laid off, like Mike. So with that being said, I am literally Chinese, you dumb f***. He blames the Japanese, but I'm not even Japanese. Respect to all my Japanese homies though. I love anime. But even if I was Japanese, it makes no sense as to why you blame me or them for your job. I mean, I'm sorry for what happened, but that's like getting upset at French fries because you gained 10 pounds in 1 week. You chose to eat them. I'm getting really sidetracked here. Can I have some more? God. Back to the story. You remember our pals Ron and Mike? Ron went out of the bar to grab a baseball bat from Mike's car. He grabbed the baseball bat and he tried to pull up on me. So like, I didn't have a gun or anything, so I just ran for like miles. I mean, you would have thought I was a chicken wing the way that I did. It was about 20 to 30 minutes and Ron and Mike were still looking for me. They even paid some dude like 20 bucks to find me. And as you can guess, they found me.
Where, you may be asking? McDonald's, out of all places, was where I met my demise at the end of a baseball bat. Afterwards, I was taken to a hospital in Detroit where a nurse told my friend that I didn't have a chance and my brain was dead. I was dead before I got there. Eventually, Ron and Mike were charged with second-degree murder.
After pleading guilty, they were ordered to only pay $3,000 and serve just 3 years of probation with no jail time. Wow, how typical. As you can imagine, people were upset. Asian Americans around the country started protesting against the verdict and rallied for justice in the name of Vincent Chin, me. Although that's the end of my story, it's not the end of our story. In San Francisco, 84-year-old Vicha Ratanapakdi was assaulted to death in broad daylight. In New York, 61-year-old Filipino Noah Quintana was slashed in the face in the subway. And now, my death was nearly 40 years ago, but evidently, things haven't changed much. Because no matter how much our people fight to be included in this country, no matter how much we showcase our patriotism, we are still seen as outsiders to many Americans. And that
needs to change now.
In solidarity with the AAPI community, Pi Delta Psi condemns any and all forms of racist, xenophobic, anti-Asian rhetoric and violence. We call upon our community, elected officials, government agencies, the national media, and especially the people to come together and ensure that justice is served and that our elders are protected.
Hello, I'm Joe, and today we're going to talk about Vice President Kamala Harris. Kamala Devi Harris is an American politician and attorney serving as the 49th Vice President of the United States. She is the United States' first female vice president, the highest-ranking female official in U.S. history, and the first African American and first Asian American vice president. Born in Oakland, California, Harris graduated from Howard University and the University of California Hastings College of Law. She began her career in the Alameda County District Attorney's Office before being recruited to the San Francisco District Attorney's Office, and later the City Attorney of San Francisco's office. In 2003, she was elected District Attorney of San Francisco. She was elected Attorney General of California in 2010 and re-elected in 2014. Harris served as the juror United States Senator for California from 2017 to 2021. Harris defeated Loretta Sanchez in the 2016 Senate election to become the second African American woman and the first South Asian American to serve in the United States Senate. As senator, she advocated for healthcare reform, federal descheduling of cannabis, a path to citizenship for undocumented immigrants, the DREAM Act, a ban on assault weapons, and progressive tax reform. Harris sought the 2020 Democratic presidential nomination, but withdrew from the race prior to the primaries. Biden selected Harris as his running mate in August 2020, and their ticket went on to win the general election in November. Harris assumed office as Vice President of the United States on January 20, 2021. Hi, my name is Joe Bashir, and I'm the president and founder of the Society of Asian Scientists and Engineers.
And my name is Anna Wynn, and I am the vice president internal, as well as the one who portrayed Kamala Harris.
And I'm the one who portrayed Joe Biden at the end scene. SACE's mission is to promote Asian heritage scientists and engineers for the global business world, and also helping our local community, making it better in every way. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Hello, I am Professor Sparky, resident frog for Sparks Magazine, and I'm here to talk to you all about history, specifically the 1960s Asian American movement led by students. Let's get started! Sorry for disappearing here and there. When I drink coffee, I tend to get gassy, meaning that I turn into gas. Before the 1960s, Asians living in America were constantly seen as perpetual foreigners in the eyes of American society because of some racist beliefs like the yellow peril and the idea that Asians posed a threat to Western civilization, which was rooted in colonialism. Many Americans felt justified in mistreating and harming Asians in America. Asian activism was never really achieved movement status due to divisions amongst the Asian communities. But the tides were changing, and it was because of students. Students in the late 1960s were coming together and forming organizations to bring together Asian American communities to collectively combat racial oppression and discrimination. One of these organizations was the Asian American Political Alliance, founded in the spring of 1968 by Yuji Ichioka and Emma G., students at UC Berkeley. This was the first time the term Asian American was used, as Ichioka coined the term for the founding of AAPA. Before we were called Asian Americans, we were labeled as Orientals, which is very offensive and not the best. Ichioka and G were purposeful in the naming of AAPA. They wanted to emphasize the Pan-Asian focus, the anti-imperialist stance of the organization, and the membership in the Third World Liberation Front. And over at UCLA, a group of Japanese American students teamed up and started an activist magazine titled JIDRA in 1969. This group of students wanted to use the publication as a way to address the issues facing the Asian American community, covering topics like defining the Asian American identity. And it was very brand new, as well as discussing anti-war movements, counterculture lifestyles, and radical politics. While it only ran until 1975, JIDRA solicited contributions from organizers, activists, academics, historians, and of course, students. This project grew from its local campus-based outreach to a wider scope, influencing the larger Asian American movement. During the late 60s, we also saw one of the first student-led strikes hit up America with the Third World Liberation Front strikes of 1968. Students of color banded together across many California campuses to demand diversity in their education. It was because of these students from many organizations like the Black Student Union, Asian American Political Alliance, and the Native American Students Union, we now have ethnic studies and other identity studies at our universities. While most of the Asian American movement of the 60s branched off and expanded into a large-scale nationwide movement, it was the efforts and dedication of university and college students that made their voices heard in hopes for a better, safer future! Oh! Who is this? Who is Zkaz? Sarakazi?
Professor Sparky, you don't remember me?
No, what? Why would I remember you?
Because you're the resident frog of Sparks, and I'm the editor-in-chief for Sparks.
Oh, Sparks! I'm so sorry. I drink so much caffeine that my gaseous state is causing me to decompose, and my voice is all over the place. Anyways,
Yeah, it sounds
what
like
is
you're
Sparks
going
again?
through it, but you're going through it for sure. But yeah, since you can't remember anything, Sparks magazine is a student-run publication that focuses on representing the voices of the Asian American community at UCF and Orlando. We strive to foster understanding and appreciation for our diverse Asian American experience by sharing articles of Asian Pacific Islander and Desi American issues, current events, and our student achievements. We also hope to become a resource for the community in advocating for social justice and change and social change. And as we are a student-run magazine, we really rely on creativity, innovation, and passion to advance the narratives we're trying to write and share.
Wow!
Do you remember now?
No, but wait, who am I?
You're Professor Sparky.
Professor Sparky? Oh, that's me. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Zcas. Thank you so much for reminding me about Sparks and who I am, Professor Sparky.
No, man, no problem, man. We got you.
I would die for you, Zora. But
anyway, for you, Professor Sparky.
Anyways, I think I'm really decomposing, but thank you for taking your time for this presentation. And hello, citizens of APAC world. Happy APAHM.
Happy APAHM, y'all.
Happy APAHM. Hope you enjoyed the caffeinated history.
Can I sit here?
Yeah, go ahead and make yourself comfortable.
Do you guys have like a caffeinated drink or something? Alright, let's get this started. I'm about to tell you guys a story of a savage man named Lê Đức Thọ. Lê Đức Thọ was known as a harsh negotiator and refused everything, even though Americans put pressure on them. But then this is where it gets interesting. This man named Henry Kissinger, who was the US security advisor, was like, psst, psst, hey Lê, what you up to, man? Lé's like, what do you want, dude? And he's like, I want the same thing as you, to end the war. So what do you say? You wanna team up? Then Lê was like, I mean, I guess, sure. For a few years, they met in secret away from the government and having their own compromises that they brought up to their own government.
Wait, that's it? I guess he was kind of a savage negotiator.
Hold up. I'm not even done yet. Just give me another 30 seconds. After all that secret stuff and playing master puppeteer with their own government, it actually led to become the Paris Peace Accords, which basically is a signed document saying to cease fire in 1973. Because of their little secret, they were both awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1973. The savage man that he is, though, he says, no. Yup. So this man actually won the Nobel Peace Prize and said no because the war was still going on in Vietnam, even with the Paris Peace Accords. Ironically, even though they were both awarded the Nobel Peace Prize, only Henry accepted it. But yep, that's the story of the first Asian to ever win the Nobel Peace Prize and rejected it. That's the tea. Hi, I'm Alina Nguyen, and I'm the Vice President of the Vietnamese American Student Association at UCF. VASA is an inclusive organization that brings the Vietnamese culture and heritage to the UCF campus. While doing so, we also provide a community to bring people together by connecting with one another using our culture and traditions.
Our celebration celebration of APAHM, APAC would like to give special thanks to our sponsors, the Links and the Retreat at East, as well as the Student Government Senate and Executive Board, the Multicultural Student Center, our APAHM committee, our APAC board members, all of our alumni, our faculty advisor, Ms. Mary Kay Pascua, as well as our community members like Ms. Shally Wong. We cannot wait to celebrate with you all. Thank you all so much for your support of our organization and of our mission.